Ian and Chris and Kirby. So all the newbies.
And you are unmuted and your slide deck is up and you are on YouTube and all of the things.
Alright.
Alright, enjoy.
Somehow I always get the grade.
Series turned out
She did good.
good.
There's a few things that would change, but
Yeah, and I think that probably changed them.
Look at that.
They're
Down.
lately. So if you want to teach this, I've got the manuals and all of that kind of stuff updated, yep. So.
how's it going, Joseph?
I'm about to teach this class. I might go ahead and grab myself some coffee.
Yes, it probably.
Yeah.
I'll take one of these for a little bit.
Okay.
She did it, for me.
Yeah.
See what it said.
Oh, okay.
Hey, whatever the two rates said. Yeah, it's bad when I can't fit the two rates up shirt. It's bad when the other shirts will fit in the cabinet, but
What size do you?
4XL, so I've gained 100 pounds in 3 years. Which we're working on, trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I know my husband was wanting one and with their.
I don't.
Yeah.
I eat fruit for breakfast and small
Sometimes,
lunch, and then I'll eat like.
speaking as someone that has lost a lot of weight recently, sometimes it's not the what you're eating, it's the amount. And so my husband and I just did a lot of weight loss. We've lost 4 pounds combined. So I'm down 200, just a little less than 200.
Kidding?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. But yeah, we did end up doing bariatric surgery. We did all kinds of weight loss programs and whatnot. But we did bariatric surgery in 2024. And so I hit my 1 year in January. So I'm almost 2 years out. And he hit 1 year in April. He's down. He went from like 40 to 60. So he's actually stealing like all those t-shirts that I had. He's stealing all of them. He's like, these are mine now. Yeah.
Throwing Lewis under the bus and he's not even here to defend.
No, I'm not throwing him under the bed, but he's stealing all my 3X t-shirts. Cause they fit him. He went from a 7XL to he's turned 3X now.
7XL.
We're talking about
That's a big
bariatric.
deal.
I've got the already done in September, they're gonna look at all of it. See if it's on a candidate. Really, he wants to look at it.
Don't do
I
it.
used to be a
Don't.
doctor,
Don't do it.
so I did a little bit, and it's nothing that's here,
Don't do it.
So-
Scary.
this would be, don't do it anywhere here. So the doctor in terms of referred me, I've gotta get the test up here, I don't know where I'll read it. Or even if I would need surgery, but they're taught to do that.
Don't do it here.
But they just have to do that, they have to scan that and look at it before I have them.
I did not have any scans done to my liver, but. We are talking about.
Yeah, it should be a little while.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll chat about it later.
Yeah.
We're not on Zoom.
Alright, how we doing today?
We're doing fantastic.
I think Heather's the only one who has any sort of
Inkling about what's going to happen.
good thing.
I did watch this on the YouTube.
Okay, so you have seen this?
I have and I
Did
took
you-
notes on it.
Did you see the one I taught or somebody else?
It was you.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, look, this
I
is.
did a few months ago.
Sure, this is generally a 3-hour course, and so we are 5 minutes past noon, and so I'm gonna do my best to get this thing done in about 50 minutes. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, you guys as newer agents are going to have to get on board with what is your value? As a buyer's agent, as a seller's agent, what is the value that you bring? And more than anything, it's actually on you and your confidence level on how that shows up. If you don't believe that you're valuable as an agent because you're new, because you don't know all the answers to the questions, for whatever other reason, guess what your client's not gonna
Your value.
your value. It's really a confidence thing. And this whole idea that we've heard and been discussed over the years about fake it till you make it, all this stuff, there's an element to it that's very real, right? And so at the end of the day, at one point we had a clicker in here, so I guess there it is. But at some point, you're gonna have to determine, okay, I am worth it. Before we start and get into anything, can anybody tell me what the average agent locally for a producing agent, what their hourly rate is?
I was gonna say.
Nailed it,
I raised my hand.
nailed it. You did watch it, or you just.
We
you
discussed
had
it with
something-
Steven. I'm just that smart.
or my man Steven helped you out.
You
Listen.
can get her $500 an hour.
Yeah,
So here's the deal, when it comes to your value as an agent. You're paid a premium. You have to believe that as an agent, even a new one, that what you have to offer a client is top tier, it's top notch, it's something that you should be on board with. This is what I charge, this is how I run my business. Now, we all know that it's the NAR and all the changes and the lawsuit that, hey, commission's negotiable. It always has been. But at the end of the day, we're having a bigger conversation around value. So something pretty cool, and this is something good for you actually to know. Do you want to know what the average commission was before last year? The average commission in this market center, what do you think our rate was?
I wanna say it was less than 3%.
It was less than 30%.
2.5.
My gut says 2.5,
It
but
was right around 3.7, right? Which means we're having a lot of conversations where commission is negotiable. You know, I know that you probably heard, well, this is what I charge, and this is what I charge, and this is what I charge. But thanks to the lawsuit, and thanks to having more conversations around value in our market and in our industry, guess what Keller Williams Commonwealth agents did last year? And all the way through probably end of month July.
had commission conversation.
They got better at it, and you know what they did? They made more money. On average, our agents here make 2.9%. That's really high. That's above average, that's a big deal. So anyway, value story, value is at the heart of all businesses because all businesses are that, it's an exchange of value. You determine the value that you provide, and your clients determine, right? The clients determine how valuable it is to them. The goal of this material is to help you understand how important value is and how you can build your business around it. What I will promise you is whatever perceived value your client has from you, it's ultimately your job to deliver on. And guess who gets to kind of dictate their perceived value? You do, you set the expectation. Right? So the law of value squared is this: the value you give determines the value you get. And when we think about value squared, we're going to be thinking about these three things. Number one, first and foremost, with any kind of client, your primary goal is to establish trust. When you meet with somebody, when you pick up the phone and call somebody, if you go to an event and you're networking and you're having conversations, or you're going to the soccer game or whatever, you're in conversations with people. Your number one job, whether it's in real estate or in life, right, is we're establishing trust. We're making a valid relationship. Number two, as an agent, we are providing a fiduciary representation. There's a difference between being a functioning agent, a functionary, and a fiduciary agent. Whether you want to be just bang average, or if you want to be truly great, your ability to show up as a fiduciary will determine that. And then you're going to deliver core services with a positive and memorable client experience that also will surprise and delight. Here's what I can promise you. The great agents are worth $500 plus per hour. But Justin, you tell me, is every agent worth that?
They are not.
No, we got some agents in our business, unfortunately, that are probably worth $2 an hour. Let's just be real. So what I can promise you is if you're able to deliver on the core services that you provide, that is stated up front, creating expectations for your client, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna be a great fiduciary, you're gonna be a great agent. So here's what I love about this graphic. And it has been coined this, I'm not the originator to this. This is the value model sandwich. It's a good one. This graphic will really help you understand what your pieces of bread are, right? What make up being an agent, and then what the meat of it is, right? So number one, we're establishing and building trust. We're demonstrating our knowledge, skills, and experience. Number two, providing fiduciary representation means we are representing the client's best interest at all times. Not Chris's best interest, not Kirby's best interest, not Heather's best interest. Your client's best interest. So if it's in your client's best interest, right? To do something that is better for them, but might mean you get less of a paycheck, what are we doing? What's best for our clients? Alright? And then number three, these are the core services. This is what you do, what we do. Number four, you're delivering that client experience. That's the how. And then surprise and delight, which is a fun just concept. It's the extras, right? I don't know how much I like being surprised, but I do like being delighted, right? I like my expectations being exceeded. So that's how I view that. So the value model sandwich, one, establish no trust, two, provide that fiduciary responsibility. And then the meat, that middle of the sandwich is what you do, how you do it, and the extras you provide. Okay, establish some trust looks a lot like this. Anybody seen the movie Meet the Fockers or Meet Parents? You know that circle? This is what happened, right? We got a circle of trust. And you want to be in that circle of trust. You don't want to be outside of it. And I actually like one of my favorite things is a guy within our company, his name's Mike Forza. And he talks about recruiting stairs, but what it is it's a relationship staircase. And when you take one step with a client, right, you've had a good first consult, you've had a needs analysis, then you take another step, you start showing them homes, right? We're on step two, step three, we're going up, we're starting to negotiate. Right, we're under contract. Step four, we're in the due diligence period. Right, we're working with inspectors, we're working with lenders, we're working with title. And then step five, we get to close. You think it's possible to fall down the steps if you lose trust? Absolutely. You know how you lose trust? Not doing what these things say. So we start with empathy. With any client that we meet with, we have to have some level of empathy, some other understanding of where they're at, what their needs are, what's most important to them. Caring, we're gonna show up and actually care for that person. We're not gonna have commission prep. We're not gonna be transactional. We wanna be relational. We wanna build rapport. We wanna be empathetic to their situation and their needs. And then we're gonna be authentic. I'm a bad salesman. I'm like the worst salesman in the world, actually, if I'm not showing up authentic. And the reality is, most people are. I have met very few people who can fool their clients with a level of inauthenticity. You know what I mean? I don't like saying the word. Anyways, and then we move around the circle of trust because we're confident. We know what we're doing. We have knowledge. We have skill set. We have an experience of doing it. So for you as new agents, you're struggling here. Whether you really know it or not, and if that self-talk is going really well, inevitably that small voice in the back of your head is going to be like, she never sold anything. Can I just tell you something? It doesn't matter. I consulted some of the top agents in this market who are going to do 30 million in volume, and I don't think I ever sold over 2.5 million. What qualified me to help $30 million producer where I never even did that. Well, I mean, Phil Jackson never won an NBA finals as a player. But you know who he coached? A crap ton of winners. If you show up committed to your client and helping them, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna build that experience. You're still gonna be able to help them. If you're committed to coming to training, if you're committed to going to Bluegrass Realtors and getting your PLE, your post-licensing education. If you are committed to the point that you went and got in real estate school, got your license, passed the test, and now sitting in this room, guess what? You have some level of competency that 99% of the average population doesn't. So you are very much qualified as long as you're committed to the role. Now, if you don't care about it and you got your license and you just want to waste your time, then sure, you're gonna really struggle. What I'm telling you is, if you can build your knowledge, if you can get more reps and more skills, that experience comes. And obviously, everybody wants to work with an experienced agent, but one of the most dangerous and impactful and honestly best agents I've seen are just hungry. You know how long the top eight, how long in the business the top agent in this office has been here? How long?
Nora,
Yeah, it's Nora. You know how long she's had her license?
2 years or so.
Yeah, not even 3 years. Right? She's a great agent. And to be real honest with you, she was a great agent before she sold her first home. You know why? Because she showed up, she committed to doing the job. And she knew what this looked like. Right? So we're confident, we have the knowledge, skills, experience, transparency. This is a big one. When I first got my license, one of the very first things my first broker told me was, Joseph, bad news doesn't get better with age. Always be upfront and honest and transparent with your clients. And you know what I carried that with, it was one of the very first lessons I learned, and I've carried it with me ever since. Bad news doesn't get better with age. And that's not to say real estate's all bad news. Most of the time it's great news. Actually, most of the time it's okay, we've got a new problem, how do we solve it?
Yeah.
Right? However, you get to a place where you can really problem solve and have your people on board if you're honest with them. If there's clarity around what the transaction looks like, what they can expect, and how you are going to show up. If you're open with them. And by the way, communicate. Under communicating is one of the worst things you can do as a client, even when things are going well. Because most of your clients have only bought a home once, or maybe never. And if they bought a home once, then generally they're 5 to 10 plus years since the first time they did it, unless they're a real estate flipper investor. They don't really know what the process is like, or they've forgotten it. So you communicating at the highest level builds that trust. If you don't want to fall down those steps, those relationship steps, guess what you got to do? Talk. And talk frequently. Right? And yes, you are a therapist. You are going to put people back together. You're going to have to talk them off the ledge. You have to be that duck that's on that pond, you know, where it's just like gliding and its little legs under the water going a mile a minute. But you would never know it because there's smooth sailing. You have to be that for you. Your energy as an agent will directly impact the energy of your clients. If you're pressed, guess who's going to show up pressed? They are. If you've got good energy and a problem solving mindset, guess who's going to be more in the game to get with you and solve that problem? They are, right? And then dependability, right? This is all about expectations and what you do and what you deliver on. Your promises are kept. When you sit down with somebody and you have a consult, buyer or seller, guess what you do? You set the expectation. You make promises. And then you wrap around the circle of trust with being dependable. You keep those promises. The expectations you set at the beginning are met. And then here's another fiduciary piece for you: the confidentiality. is maintained. I've seen too many agents really drop the ball on that last one. And you know what they do? They make it harder for their client to get what they actually could have. Can't tell you how many listing agents who have not done this, but wanted the deal to go through and lost negotiating power. Now, was I grateful? Because I was able to get maybe a little more from my buyers? Absolutely. But had I been on the other side, I thought to myself, would not have shared that with them. Right? Confidentiality maintained is a big deal. Okay, so here's how we build and keep trust. There's upfront ways to do that, right? And then there's how we do this over time. What I can promise you, and one of the things that I definitely think you all need to do, just because of time constraints, is we're gonna have these slides made available. So they can be emailed to you. I would probably speed through some of these, but the important thing is when you're working on building and keeping trust, there's a lot you do upfront. And then there's a lot you do over time.
Can we share the participation guide? Cause I'm running through it.
Absolutely.
So.
And that would be a huge favor to us if you're able to
Yeah.
get that to Kirby and
Where'd
Chris.
you get that? I was given it.
I think I emailed it to you the last time, right? Yeah. All right, how trust is built or lost? Remember those stairs we were talking about? Being able to fall down? When you're making first contact. What's your first move? If you cold called somebody, or somebody's cold called you, how you respond in that first conversation can dictate how that transaction goes, how that relationship goes, right? When you're presenting your value, reaching an agreement, and setting expectation. The important thing about this table here is that from the very first contact to when you close on the deal, that is the scope of when you build and lose trust. So you have to be good and competent and deliver on your core services from day one to closing. And if you're a good agent like Justin, you keep up with them after the closing.
Women command.
You put those bad boys in command, put them on a smart plan, follow us. And guess what? Every couple months, you're checking back in with the people you just sold a home to. Because if you don't, guess who they become? My client. Because I'll keep up with it. Alright? Alright, so here's how we establish trust. Before any core service frameworks can be created and executed, you have to build that rapport. Before anybody's willing to listen to what you can offer them, they have to be able to see you as trustworthy. Are you establishing that trust? And you gotta be able to do that quickly. Number two, build and sustain trust over time. I've seen a lot of agents be really good at this up front, and because they are poor communicators or they're not open and honest, guess what happens? They lose the trust. You know what my favorite thing a new agent can say is? I don't know the answer to that. I'm gonna look in and I'm gonna ask my team. That's a great question. I'm gonna follow up with my broker and get back to you as soon as I can. Right? You know what the worst thing new agents do? Make something up on the fly.
I've done that.
I do it too. And it burned me a handful of times.
I'm not good at doing it.
Yeah. And when you do it and you're not good at it, guess what your client knows?
But you're new.
Well, that's your line. You're not being completely.
Two.
Yeah. They're like, not only do they not know what they're talking about, they were bad at lying.
You have to get the right answer and then follow up.
Absolutely. Your best friend as a new agent is Justin, is Steven, is Bo, Lexi.
I don't think I had Justin's number.
Well, I think you all need to switch that up. Yeah, I guarantee he has yours. Alright, then you're gonna use those 8 moments where trust is built or lost with sellers and buyers as a template. So that table that Heather's going to email you that you'll have access to, guess what? Those 8 things are the foundation for you to start building this value for your clients. You don't have to recreate the wheel. That's my favorite thing about Keller Williams. Great idea, guess what we don't do? Just try to reinvent it. If it's already great, guess what we do? We R&D it. We rip it off and we duplicate it. Because guess what? There's already been a bug, and you all were learning about it in REA, like Sue was just in here talking about, that are proven models and systems on how you can win and how you can run a big business. Number 4, for each moment, define how you will demonstrate each component of the circle of trust. Then number 5, set your plan in action. So here's what I'm going to tell you real quick. I'm going to go off script here. And when I think about what the best agents do, is they already know what they're going to say before they say it. They don't wait until the moment happens to come up with, oh, there's the answer. They practice it. They role play it. They memorize the script. Anybody in here ever memorize the script? No? Heather.
In school?
Anybody know that they should probably memorize the script? Okay. What's your biggest gripe about a script, Justin?
My biggest gripe about a script is sometimes I don't sound, I sound like a robot, right?
Sure.
If I don't know it,
Yeah.
and I don't make it myself,
Yeah, it's not authentic.
yeah.
That's what I don't memorize them. I will use.
Well,
the
you
script.
haven't memorized it, so you don't have it in here.
I will, because I typically will read the script and go, okay, this is the general information that I'm using, and then I
Can I coach you?
go off script.
My love coach you.
Yes.
Here's why learning the script and memorizing the script, even if it doesn't sound authentic, it doesn't sound like Heather. You know what it does? You do that enough, you internalize it. In that habit of building, knowing what I'm going to say before I have to say it, it's recall ability. It's, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do this. I know what to say. So you memorize it so you can internalize it. And then once you have it internalized, guess what you can do? That Justin kind of did on. You can customize it, you can personalize it. If you don't know what to say, then it doesn't matter how personal or sweet talker you are. You don't have any substance. You memorize the script because it's the substance, it's the meat of what you're trying to communicate and get across. Right? And I know that takes a little bit of a reframe. I know it's super uncomfortable, but guess what?
Do hard things.
You're capable of doing hard things. And believe it or not, I've seen, this is gonna sound terrible, so I apologize. I've seen scarcely talented people learn a script and have great results just because of grit. Just because of commitment, just because of consistency. I've seen people who don't know a lick about real estate memorize the script, use it, get more reps, get more experience, learn the job. Now, while failing a lot, sure, but then ultimately get great results. Because they were just committed to doing the stuff that mattered. You want to provide value to your people? Know the market, know the numbers, know your value. You help no one if you are not lockstep with your value. If you're confused on what you offer and what you do and what you're worth, your clients are definitely going to be wandering aimlessly in the wilderness through that transaction. You want to be a great guy. All right, you share your responsibility. These things still don't shut.
Well, this one does.
It's all good. Adrian's out there working his clients. Let him do it. He's good. All right, you share your responsibility. Hey, that value model sandwich is back. We like it. I'm gonna do some audience participation here, right? Chris, would you mind telling me the 8 core principles of just being a functionary? If you show up as an agent functionary, what are the 8 takeaways that we got?
You just want to read those?
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause I was about to say, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shallow relationship. Assumes the least responsibility, reports Data and information, reacts to requests, focuses on tasks, tells and sells, replaceable, minimally paid.
Ouch. Anybody gonna work with a functionary? Absolutely not. Not in real estate. Not with a lawyer, not with a doctor, not with a school team, nothing. Nobody wants this.
Well, and you can look at that in any kind of life. Like, I don't even want your friendships to be.
No, it's very surface level.
Absolutely. Which one gives you the biggest hit? I know which one mine is.
We're, tells and sells. That
Okay,
one.
I don't like that one.
I'd say number one.
Okay,
And then I don't like one either, shallow relationships. I want it to be a meeting.
my least favorite is this one.
Yeah.
Cause I just wanna remind us, why are we in this firm? What's the number one reason?
Make a living.
To make money.
To make money. Right? I wanna help people, absolutely, my whole life has been about helping people. But I don't have a wife and kids and a home and goals and a life and a dream. I can't be minimally paid. Because I'm valuable, you can't just pick me up off the street. Justin's not a dime a dozen. Right, and neither should you be, right? Minimally pay is terrible, and then number one, I also can't sing. Dismiss me with that, I'm wasting my time. Alright. Heather, read me fiduciary.
Deep relationship, accepts the most responsibility, interprets, advises on data and information, anticipates needs, focuses on outcomes, educates and guides, irreplaceable and highly paid.
Justin, as a well-versed agent. Which one of those gets you the most excited, or would you say is your superpower?
Accepting the most responsibilities, you need to understand that as an agent to your client, no matter what happens in the transaction, it's your fault. Therefore, you need to own the outcome. It doesn't matter that the lender messed something up or that the title search didn't come through on time. You own the outcome and then you fix it. So you don't really point fingers because you're the one that's gonna fix it. And they should feel like that at all times.
No, that's good. High level of ownership is a big deal in being a fiduciary. One of my favorites is number 4.
Yeah.
Gosh, if you can be number 4. You can be a great agent. Remember what, just the conversation around problem solving earlier? You anticipate needs, you get out in front of those things. You anticipate them happening, you have a conversation before a conversation. Title is running slow. Guess what, we had a conversation 3 days ago, hey. Everything looks good, you've done everything in your court. I think at this point, we should have already heard something from title, I'm gonna follow up, I'll let you know what they say. Alright, knowing your deadlines. Knowing the process of the transaction will help you anticipate things at a high level. Knowing your client's needs analysis. And what makes them tick and what's important to them. Will help you anticipate needs. Also like number 6, educating and guiding versus tell and sell. I mean, just talk about respect and dignity. How do you treat people? How do you educate and guide rather than tell and sell? There's a way to have conversations. There's a way to bridge an education gap. Because I can promise you, there's so much information that they've internalized from a friend, a family member, a tweet, a headline. That isn't accurate, and you've got to educate and guide them. And you can't be upset that their mother-in-law told them that rates were so high they can't even buy a house. You don't tell and sell that person. You educate and guide. And you don't throw mother-in-law under the bus, right? You're like, well, here's what the market is actually showing.
When did she get hurt twice?
You can joke once you build that relationship. Yeah. So anyways, being a fiduciary with customers have remained a constant and unchanged factor in the real estate industry. Can you name 2 or 3 other professions where there's a fiduciary? Where they have a fiduciary banker,
Lawyer.
lawyer,
Doctor.
doctor. Tell me something about banker, lawyer, doctors. They highly paid?
Oh, yeah.
Are we fiduciaries? Should we be highly paid?
No.
Are we highly paid?
Sometimes.
Yeah, we are. So we need to act like it, we need to show up like it, and we need to believe it. A fiduciary not only does the task of the job, but is also in a high trust relationship with their client. They feel responsible for that outcome. They put their client's interests above their own and treat all client information as confidential. A fiduciary builds deep relationships with their clients because they take an active role in interpreting and advising on data and information given to them. Sellers. We like sellers, right? You know what I like about sellers? You got a higher probability of getting a commission check. Now, is the market a little different than it was 6 months ago? Yes. Is it different than it was a year ago? Much. Is it different from 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
Real estate is always changing. The market is fluctuating. Guess what we have more of? Inventory. Which means we also have stale inventory. And we've got more inventory now than we have probably in a decade. Our industry has been chasing inventory since 2012. Can't build roofs fast enough. Right, but the resale action has also been limited because of guess what? And this is a positive thing. What do most homeowners have right now?
Low interest rate.
A low interest rate, that's right. What else?
Equity.
Tons of equity. Tons of equity. You have people not willing to sell because they're sitting on a great piece of equity, right? So value model sandwich again, if you're thinking this is redundant, it's just repeated because it's important. Memorize this, internalize it. So, Kirby, what is the most important thing to sellers?
To net the most amount of money with the fewest amount of hassles and the least amount of time.
Yeah, that tracks. That really tracks. Net the most amount of money with the fewest amount of hassles and the least amount of time. You're lucky if you get to. But guess what? The goal is all three. And that's what we work towards. But if you want to know what sellers want, it's this. You think knowing this at a deep level helps you in conversations with your clients who are selling a home? Absolutely. But do you think this also helps you set better expectations about what the market is doing? Yes. I've had some very interesting conversations this week with a couple of my sellers who are very proud of their home. And they should be. But guess what? The market doesn't support the valuation in their head. I'm a professional. I've done the data. I've done the research. I interpret it. I advise them. And guess what I had? A hard conversation. That there wasn't a market for the number they wanted. That we might have to get creative. That I didn't want to hurt them or the listing by putting it on the market and overlisting it. And there was like 1 or 2 data points that supported what they wanted. But there were like 20 others that were like, they're 50K off. Right? So when I was still in the seat, one of the things Tristan and I worked on is we watched what our average percent of taking a listing, what we were listing homes at as an office versus what we wound up selling them at. It's about a 20 to 25K difference in what we were taking listings at and what they were selling for. You guys see price reductions and price improvements and price adjustments all the time. Some of those were already in motion. There's an agent in this office, runs one of our best teams. He has his sellers who can't agree to his valuation, sign a agreement in addition to the exclusive right to sell, that in 2 weeks, if both parties don't have the desired offers or the desired showings, they will agree to list it at his original price. So he will work with them, he will list it at what they want to, so he's not losing the listing. I don't want you to ever lose listings. But he's building in an expectation setting conversation from the first conversation. Hey, I've done all this work. My team has built out this incredible CMA, it's like 25 pages. It's got all this data. Here's what we need to list your home at. Well, actually, we really want to get XYZ. Alright, well, internally you're thinking, well, I just did all this work, I'm the professional, and I'm not telling somebody who doesn't know what I know a better price. So then you can have this conversation like, hey, market doesn't support that number. However, I'm happy to be wrong. We both make more money if I'm wrong. But just in case, I'd like us to sign this agreement that within 2 weeks, if we don't have the amount of showings and offers that you want, can we move closer to the number I've already put together? Have that conversation. Don't make them feel dumb. You can give them their dignity back, even if their valuation is way off. It's important that you can have that skilled conversation, but this is what sellers want. And if you know this, then upfront you need to have conversations about what they're going to net. Right? And you might even give them a range. Some of the best agents I've seen, they give a range. They say, oh, I think your house is worth 250 to 270. Here's what you'll net at 250. Here's what you'll net at 260. Here's what you'll net at 270. Right? We have resources in the Google Drive that Justin, I'm sure, can get you. Seller's net sheet.
I think we have a.
You have a seller's net sheet. So when you sit down and have a listing consult and you want to give them a range, have that expectation setting conversation up front. And then you got to be honest about the market. Average days on market is up, especially at luxury price points.
And in rural areas.
And
I
in
was
rural
looking at
areas.
that yesterday, but over near my lake house, it's like 88 days.
Don't remind me.
I know,
Got a couple of rural listings I'm helping on right now.
sorry.
It's okay. All right, seller core services. This is what you do as a selling agent, as a listing agent. Consulting to a decision. We had a great conversation up front. We're consulting to an outcome. Who in here has done a needs analysis? Whether with a real client or in practice. Yeah, I imagine you have. Maybe the next time you are doing PC stuff with Steven. Practice a needs analysis. You all might have without knowing, right? But what I can promise you is if you don't practice that needs analysis, guess who you practice it on?
Fine.
Your client. We don't want to practice things on our client. Know your buyer console, know your listing console. Have that needs analysis. And if you need help, book 15 minutes with Justin, and he can walk you through a good needs analysis. And if he's not available, give me a call. I might be. We'll see. Number 2, we're going to market the property. Carter teaches a class on the 14 elite ways to market a property. And there's probably more than 14. But I'll be transparent, 14 should be enough. Alright? Some people don't even do that. Some people are like, hey, here's the 3 things I do for your listing. I'm gonna take pictures with my iPhone. I'm gonna throw it up on Flex. And I'm just gonna share the link on Facebook. Right? So a lot of agents do that.
Used to be all you have to do.
Well,
Turn
that's,
it over.
well, what you had to do earlier was just put that sign in your yard and your phone number there.
Yeah.
You get that call. But we're gonna market the property. Number 3, we're negotiating the contract. This negotiation terrifies you. You know what makes negotiating easier? This is gonna be a recurring thing.
Knowing your value.
Well, knowing your value, knowing your client's ultimate needs and what's most important to them. Knowing the market. Practicing. Having conversations. Running through role play scenarios.
Confidence.
Oh, confidence for sure. But what gives you confidence is that role playing, is that practicing, is those conversations. Right? My very first deal I ever did, my broker was moving me the whole way. Right? They helped me negotiate. And there was certainly one or two phone calls where I was like, oh, I don't think I'd have said that. I don't think I would have had the confidence to say that. I'm glad my broker was here to say it. Right? I may have cost my sellers $5,000. I remember the agent calling and saying, hey, we're gonna put in an offer, we'd like to negotiate 5,000 in closing costs. Blah, 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 and I was like, it sounds great, it's my first offer, yes. But I paused, right, that's what I wanted to say, my broker was like, okay, walk me through why we need 5,000 for closing costs. Right? So we had a conversation, he dissected it. And then based on the needs of our clients, he was like, I think we can only do 2. And guess what? They're like, all right, great, we'll accept that. I was just about to give away 30 grand. Right? I didn't know any better. Lean on your people, lean on your team. You don't have to do any of this by yourself. Even though sometimes it might feel that way. But your value is also with who you have in your corner. Some of the best agents still need a good principal broker. The best agent in town, in my opinion, still needs a good coach. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's batting 1,000, by the way. You need people. You need help. And then we're going to close the sale, right? Most powerful words in real estate are, here's what happens next. That's anticipating needs. That's having expectation setting conversations up front. All right. So here's your homework, because I believe you all will do this, and I will also follow up with Steven to make sure you do it. I want you to go through some of these slides. This is what it looks like to consult to a decision, right? I've talked about a needs analysis, home walkthrough, we didn't touch on, but you will, right? Share who you are, explain your process, that's your core services, go through the home valuation process, that's CMA, how you got there. You're gonna calculate and show us a seller net sheet, and they're gonna make a decision to sell or not. That's what consulting to a decision means. You're going to help them decide whether they're going to sell it. Saw something online that cracked me up. Said sellers right now have 2 options. Number 1, lower the price. Number 2, keep the property. Right? I'd say right now, mostly that is true. There's some nuance, but it may apply. Anyways, review and sign listing agreement with seller condition exposure. Here's Joseph's just PSA though. I don't care what you do. If you don't know your contracts inside and out, it doesn't matter. If you don't know how to fill them out, if you don't know how to explain them, I don't care what you have signed. If you can't consult on that buyer rep agreement and explain what you do and what their obligation is, you won't be successful and you are going to make mistakes. One of your primary jobs as a new agent is to know the contracts. Know the buyer rep agreement because you're going to be most familiar with that. Most new agents start out heavy buyer. It's not always the case, but most. You're going to represent more buyers than sellers. And then you're going to get more reps. You're going to learn how to have those conversations. Know the buyer rep agreement. Know the exclusive right to sell. Know the terms that are negotiated on that. And if you're going to list a property, make sure you have a conversation about cooperative commission. Okay, we want to market your property. Which means in addition to making sure that I'm made whole as an agent for my services, we need to market in such a way that you would be willing that on any accepted offer, that we're willing to offer cooperative commission to the buyer's agent. Some sellers are gonna be like, no. And you're gonna be like, okay,
No one's gonna show your house.
well, and you don't even have to disclose it, by the way.
Oh, really?
If you got a signed buyer, here's Joseph's opinion, not that you asked. If you are representing a buyer and you have a buyer rep agreement on there and you have 2.5%, 2.75%, 3%, 3.5%. And that isn't the number you put on the contract. Just have your license. I mean, if you negotiate with your buyer that, hey, this is what my services are worth. This is what it costs you to represent me. I don't care what that seller is offering. I don't care if the listing agent told me, Joseph, it's 2.5%. You know what I'm putting on that contract? What was on that buyer? Because what I can't do is increase that number. So if I have 2.5 on the buyer rep. And shoot, that listing's actually offering 3% to a buyer's agent, guess what I can't make on that deal?
3%.
3%. Put your number on there and don't budge. And if you have to negotiate it down on the contract, then negotiate it down.
You can't negotiate up.
But why would you not ask for what the buyer already agreed to pay? It's an irrelevant question. And if you show that home and they're not offering it, well, guess what? My client and I, my buyer, by the way, thinks a lot of me and what I offer them, and they're unwilling to make an offer on this house because they're not gonna get paid for it.
Yep.
So many times. And then guess what that seller is gonna do? After about 1 or 2 of those, you're gonna fine, give them 2.5, give them 2, give them 3. They're gonna get there. But as a listing agent, you have to be an advocate for yourself because eventually you're also gonna be a buyer's agent and your colleagues. Right? So anyways, marketing the property, we're gonna get the property ready to market. We're gonna create a marketing plan. We're gonna run the marketing plan. We're gonna have conversations. Right? Number one doesn't happen enough. Yes. Yeah. There's so many sellers that are like, just put it on the market. I'm like, but we've got like a gutter hanging around back. Can we just screw that up? No, I don't want to do it. All right, I'll come out and I'll do it. Right? But like, we got to get the property ready to market, declutter, stage it, have professional photos done, and then run a play. Because guess what? You already committed to doing something like this when you told them in the listing consult, here's how I'm going to market your property. You got to deliver on those services. Negotiating the contract, presenting offers. Make sure that when you're presenting offers, especially if there's more than one, you've got net sheets ready to go. You're going to review the qualifications of the buyer. Are they pre-qualified? Are they pre-approved? Is it cash? What kind of terms is it? Understand that. And then identify the pros and cons. Well, shoot, this contract came in and it's 10 above asking, but they want to close in 60 days. But we're moving to Alabama in 30, and we're getting lists over here. So actually, we'll take this at list price. We'll forgo the extra 10 because we actually need to get out of here 30 days. Know what matters most. Negotiate those contracts, right? Price, terms, personal property. That's what conveys. Right? Are the window fixtures staying? Are the appliances staying? Are they going? Right? Is the security system conveying? Right? Have that conversation, negotiate that in. Here's the other thing. And this will happen. When negotiating the personal property, and I'm only sharing this because I've learned from it because it's a personal mistake. When you negotiate appliances, let's just say a fridge in the kitchen. Give it a little more detail. Maybe even add a serial number, and you might be thinking, Joseph, that's overkill, and you probably would be right 99 times out of 100. But I have had an instance where I sold the property, and now granted, it was my seller who did this without my knowledge. And they took the garage fridge, put it in the kitchen, and took the one that was in the kitchen. And in the contract, they wanted the refrigerator. And then my seller was, well, they didn't specify. I was like, you're right. And that is a gray area. But how do you feel really? Does this feel dishonest? Like, well, yeah, a little bit. I was like, okay, because it is.
Yeah.
And so my lesson to the other agent was like, look, we'll make this right, we'll swap them. But in the future, help us both out. And be a little more specific in our language. And again, 99 times out of 100, people understand the refrigerator is the refrigerator, not the garage refrigerator.
That's crazy.
That is
Crazy.
crazy.
But it does happen. Alright, closing this up, we're gonna coordinate with title attorney and all parties to the contract on the closing date. We're gonna review the closing package with the seller. By the way, the best title partners are your friend and help you do that. Then number 3, we're gonna prep seller to move, pack, move, clean, and shut off utilities. 4, confirm all closing conditions, including conveyances and repairs. Number 5, close, verify funding, and conduct key exchange. That's how we rock. Representing the seller. Okay? The client experience and how you do it matters, how you appear, how you act, how you communicate and interact. Right? This is, I think, a good stopping point for you all, good stopping point for me. Please review the handout that Heather was able to email you all, and then
I
you can.
send one to you, but I figured you have access to the drive. Did it not come through, Chris? Is it Christopher or Chris?
Chris stuff.
Maybe Chris.
Okay. And then make sure you connect with Steven
I'll do it.
and Justin if you need any further education, have any questions, whatever. Everybody good? Any questions for me?
No.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. If you have any questions, let me know.
I'm in the middle of the toughest negotiations ever done. Really, it is back and forth,
That's what scares me.
brutal. I love it, I love it.